A beautiful day. It was good to get back on the field, getting ready for our next opponent, division opportunity right here, NFC opportunity, all those things. And for us, every single game, it's so important that we have the same approach. We trust in our process. We trust in the way that we go about our work and communicate with each other. Also, on a side note, just really excited for Charlotte FC this Friday. Big playoff game, big excitement here in the building. So pulling for those guys as well. Yeah. Yeah, he's just working through some stuff during the game. Wanted to be smart about it. We're counting on him this weekend, and so wanted to make sure that we get him on the right track so he can get out there tomorrow. Get some practice reps and all that. But as he continues to emerge as an important part of what we're doing, we got to make sure that we get him to game day. He's ready to go, and that'd be the plan.
It doesn't sound like a whole lot of concern there about him being ready for Sunday.
No, just being smart about it, taking all the information in and saying, if we can push this thing back another day, get him some rest, some recovery in RTP, and then, get him back out there tomorrow practicing in some fashion, and then with the whole intent of just getting him ready for Sunday.
Asante Samuel's visiting.
Yeah.
What started that whole process, and have you been able to watch him yet?
So I haven't watched him on the field working out. We brought him in to meet him, talk to him, take him through the whole process, and really nice conversation with him. A fantastic player for the Chargers for a while. Has played in our scheme, all those things, and it's part of our process. When there's guys out there that are coming back from injuries that are ready to go, let's look at all of them. And you never know; it's a long season, so just keeping all of our options open.
Dave, obviously you want Rico to be healthy, but you've talked about how important it is to have two really good running backs because it's such a violent position. Does that kind of affirm that belief of yours with him dealing with this injury? Absolutely.
And, if it's Chuba rolling out there, I feel great. Feel very confident in him being able to execute the things the way we want it to be done. And, if it came to that situation, also Trevor Etienne, he's done a great job continuing to grow as a returner and did an excellent job last week in, pretty challenging conditions, fielding the ball for us. All that hidden yardage is so important, that we take advantage of catching the ball first. And whatever we get on the return is a bonus from there. And he just keeps improving that way, too.
Why do you think taking away that play calling responsibility for Rosenboom has kind of freed him up seemingly to be more of a playmaker?
Yeah, honestly, it was really more about just Trevin's leadership and his growth in this defense, his understanding of our concepts and what we're doing, and his ability to connect with the guys. It was really more that, giving Trevin the opportunity to be back there in front of the huddle, get the information communicated to the guys that he's been playing with now for a year and a half. And so that was really the opportunity. Now, on the flip side of it, that does free up, you got a crazy man out there with long hair flying around everywhere, and it lets him just kind of get the call, pin his ears back, and go play football. And he's done a great job of that, too.
Dave, with the right guard position,
yeah.
You obviously have a bunch of different options with Jake doing what he did,
yep.
and Kate coming back, and Austin. How do you guys parse through, who would be the best option to start, but also who could be the most convenient from a depth standpoint, given how often you are having in-game issues?
Those are all great questions, all stuff that we have to talk through. We expect Austin Corbett to come in at right guard and play for us. That's his natural position, made the center move because we asked him to, and has done a fantastic job of being able to give us flexibility inside. It's always so valuable. Even Chandler this offseason, we put the ball in his hands and snapped him a bunch just to continue to develop those guys, the inside players who are available on game day. When you have flexibility for a guy to play a guard or center spot, it does help you a lot in those different situations.
Now that the offensive line seems to be getting healthier, how valuable has that evaluation of the guys that maybe you weren't expecting to play as much been moving? How important will that be moving forward?
It is. It's very important for us to get all of the film that we can, to see the guys operating together, communicating, and how they respond to different types of defenses. And, can we continue to stay within our scheme and run the things that we count on, with different guys in there. And so we've gotten to look at a lot of guys. And, again, just talking about Jake Curhan and, I don't know, what was it, 5 or 6 plays into the game, all of a sudden he's in at left guard. D-Luke comes back in. Then he's popping in at right guard, and the experience that I've had with Jake over the years, he's given us plays at tackle in the past, and he's done an excellent job that way. Played some big tight end, pseudo Brady, like Brady gave us that. Other than the center position, we haven't really, I haven't had experience with Jake at center, but the flexibility, the coaching, again, I have an opportunity to talk about Harold Goodwin, Joe Gilbert, Dean Petzing, who onboards the guys as they come in. They sit with Dean in the office and talk about the language. Here's our calls in the run game. Here's our call in the pass game. And these guys are all hands on deck. And, the way that I see it is the position coach coaches from the top down. And Dean Petzing, you coach from the bottom up, the guys that aren't getting those reps. Let's make sure that they're continuing to track with what we're doing so that when these opportunities come, they're ready to go.
Dave, Bryce's numbers aren't great, yet the team is still winning. What does that say to you?
Great team football, just winning in all three phases, playing together, complementary football. I think he's doing an excellent job of getting us to the right runs, getting us to the right protections. And again, put him in high-stakes situations. He comes through for us with a couple of big throws in that last drive, to complement with Rico's run at the end. So continues to do a great job that way.
Are there times where the numbers don't really give a full picture of a player's contribution?
It's wins and losses. Those are the only numbers that count to me. And while I know Bryce would be up here, and he'd be the first one to tell you, there's some passes along the course of the season that he'd love to have back, at the same time. This is a group that's growing together, the young skilled group that we have with T-Mac, Xavier, Jalen Coker, who's looked a week better. I think I alluded to that too. Just I got to do a better job. Brad and I just getting Jalen going, and there wasn't a lot of passes to go around last week. We had, I think, 20 passes on the day or something like that. So, but Jalen made the plays when we needed him to. So,
Wins and losses as a number. I mean, Bryce is if you view QB stats as a thing, he came into the season with 6 wins as a starter. He could tie that this weekend if you guys were to win. What does that say about how the offense has kind of worked around him and how he's worked in the offense?
Honestly, it starts with Bryce, and Bryce is the one that leads the charge. He's the one that pushes the urgency in practice, talking to the guys, be engaged all throughout each day. And it's that type of leadership that he continues to bring to the team, and you ask him, he'll tell you, I just want to win. Whatever that takes to win, that's what he would like to do and wants to win with his teammates. And I know the guys feel that, and there's a sense of confidence when he's out there.
Seeing DJ Wanham really get untracked yet, what's been slowing him down in the pass rush this year?
Opportunity, I think, just different scenarios, different situations, and we're counting on DJ. He's done an excellent job, gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of our stunts and packages. He's a very cerebral guy and really playing the run tough on the edge. He sets edges for us like we count on, and then that just lets Turk and DB and Ashawn and Bobby and those guys kind of cut it loose on the inside.
Monday about the benefit that you were hoping to maybe see out of the victory Monday with that additional day off, seeing it pan out, anything you notice in terms of energy or attitude or just the way the team is approaching it back today? Yeah, they handled it great because we had an awesome Wednesday, and that's always the litmus test, right? How do we come back to work when they get that time off, and with that being said, we had a huge percentage of guys come in, get their lift in, say hi in the office as we were kind of going about our game planning business and all that. But to me, it's about the results of the day. It was a focus group today, a lot of communication, a lot of great stuff happening, and so for me, that gives me the confidence that they've handled this right, and it's a sign of a maturing team.
Planning look or change when your opponent trades away 2 major contributors.
Yeah, you do have to look at how are they using those players and who might they put into, because basically, we're not going to just completely go away from the core of our systems, regardless of who's in there and who's out of there. So we try to look through the roster to say who could fill that role in some way, shape, or form. Rashid Shaheed's a fantastic player. He's got a lot of speed down the field. They use him a certain way with jet sweeps, but they have a lot of other players. So we have to consider that part to say, who might fill that role and be ready for those adjustments.
Can you go back to Bryce for a second? What kind of that we may not see behind the scenes shows what he's doing for, I guess, leadership or whatever, that's making a difference out there that's kind of intangible type stuff?
Yeah, it's on the field. It's in the meeting rooms. It's constant communication with his guys about small adjustments, in our pass game. As we get into different areas, third down, red zone, hey, if you get this look, this is what I'm expecting, and just real ownership of our concepts. And that's what I want. That's what Brad and I want. We just love when the guys come to us and say, hey, can we move this split down a yard here for this type of leverage or access. If this happens, can we do this? And working through those scenarios, that's what I love. I love the ownership part of that. And then it's on the field. It's in practice. And, I think human nature is to, as the practice goes on and gets longer and longer, there can be a dip in the energy. It's the quarterback's responsibility to snap guys back in, and he's done a fantastic job of that to keep the group focused as we continue to finish these days.
Dave, Prinsley coming back today, full participant. You mentioned the other week him finishing that game when he had the rib thing. What have you seen from him in his development over the course of the rookie year?
Yeah, taken to coaching. He's getting coached hard. AC Carter does a fantastic job of talking to the guys, keeping them accountable for the responsibilities. These are things sometimes in the games, you see something for the very first time, and we plan for certain concepts. They throw something new. We have to make adjustments. It may be the first time he's ever seen that. And what I've seen Princely do is just take the coaching, apply it, and then again for him to continue to battle back, dealing with the ankle, but to get himself back out there today. And really, it was his work through the weekend and Monday that really gave us the confidence to put him back out there. He was here. He got great rehab while we were in Green Bay, and showed back up on Monday, was ready to go, proved that he could move around enough to get back out there and practice, and he did a good job today.
We're gonna do two more. We'll do two more. We'll do Steve, we'll do Deshaun.
Dave, I mean, the recent history of winning around here, and it's been a while since it got to the postseason. A win like that over Green Bay's, top team in the NFC, or was coming in, what does that do for this team's confidence? And did you see this week, maybe even practice today, guys coming out with, hey, maybe we can surprise some people?
Well, you just got to be truthful about it. We won the game. There's a lot of stuff that we got to clean up, and there were instances in the game that really gave the Packers a couple of opportunities. Namely, they caught us with 12 on the field, which was a big emphasis. We know they do that. Those are the types of things that we have to continue to clean up. On the offensive side, just some penalties on a 4th and 1. And having clean hands in those situations. Coach Caldwell hit me up after the game and was like, what that win means is that you won 5, you didn't win 4. So to me, it's like that's the next game mentality. Let's go play the next one. We have a hungry team that we're facing this week that has to be the focus. This group, to your point, I can feel the confidence as we grow because of the understanding of what we're doing, the speed of play, the communication, and the trust. Those are the things that I'm looking for to gauge. And really, as far as just making any statements, it's like that was one game. We have to go and replicate that, because when we do play and take care of the ball, when we take it away from the opponent, limit the explosives and get a few, play really good on special teams, it leads to good results. We have to capture those things, capture the process that leads to wins, and that's the most important part.
Deshaun, last question.
I was going to ask about Trayvon Merrick. We've heard a lot of fun descriptions of just the difference in his personality on the field, but how would you describe what his impact has been?
He just plays with a real urgency. He loves it. Bottom line, if I could say one thing about Trey, he loves football. He loves to be out there at practice. He loves to be out there during the game. We had a cool moment at the half. He could feel it. And I was like, it feels like you're going to get one. He was like, I think so, too. He keeps putting that ball up there. And sure enough, it had it. He picks the ball off, has a nice return, comes running over, pointing, and it was just like he's just always – he's looking for opportunities to make a big hit, to make a play. Really brings an explosiveness to what we're doing on the defensive side.
Y'all celebrate him in any way for the Defensive Player of the Week?
We just recognize it, whenever our players are recognized publicly, and try to make sure, and they understand, too, it's – while one guy may get the praise, it's a group playing together. It's a defense that was 4 for 5, really kept the offense 1 for 5 in the red zone playing together, and when it was Rico, it's about the offensive line. It's about the tight ends and the receivers blocking downfield, and it takes the full group to get that done, and certainly in the special teams as well. When our guys have success, let's spread that love. Let's make sure that we understand we do this collectively, and it's because we're playing good football that these things emerge and people recognize our players. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Bryce?
Just what was the energy coming off a win like that, Victory Monday? So you're not in the building on Monday. Just like how was it sort of coming back to practice on Wednesday? How was the energy?
Yeah, just refocusing. Last week is last week. We're all focused on the Saints this week. It was, for us, it's, we turned the page. There was corrections, for the team, for unit. That was a brief little start, and then you turn the page. Again, week-to-week league. No one cares what happened last week. We're focused. We know that it's going to take everything this week. I have a lot of respect for them, division opponent. These are important games. So, it's just refocusing so that we can have the best chance of success for this weekend.
How'd your ankle hold up?
Good. Yeah, it's able to go through everything. Again, everyone's got something at this point in the year. It'll only keep getting better. It was good.
How about Clinton Dix tweeted that he talked to you pregame? Can you kind of give us some insight on that without telling us exactly what you talked about? And how common is that for former players of the opposing team to actually come up and converse with you before games?
Yeah, well, I happen to know him from when I was at Bama. He was there. He came back. Obviously went there. He came back. So I was able to see him a little bit before. So. It was cool. Pre-game, before you be able to talk to him for a quick second, that was good.
You said you told him that he had to make it quick because it was time for you to lock in.
Yeah. He came up to me a second time. While we were going out, and he obviously had a great career in the league, great career playing football. So we all kind of know how that mode goes. When it's time to work. So it was just close to that time.
It's your first half year this season.
Again, there's good, there's bad, there's stuff to grow from, stuff to continue to improve. We're week to week. I'm not a big, I've said I'm not a big look forward person, not a big look back person either, honestly. I know where we're at right now. I know what the game plan is this week. I'm not a big 30,000 feet view type of person. So there'll be a time for that down the road of looking back and, chalking everything up right now. Listen to coach's staff, listen to my teammates, figuring out whatever I have to do for this week.
So your numbers haven't been outstanding, but the team's winning. So what's that say to you?
All I care about is the team winning. Again, there's been wins, there's been losses as a team. That's all I'm concerned about. And again, that's in the past. Right now, concerned about going 1-0 this week.
Right, you've only been here for a couple years, but I mean, obviously, it's been a while since this team has been to the postseason. What do you feel like? First of all, how important was it to get that win against Green Bay, which was a top team, in terms of confidence and maybe just kind of, guys in the locker room saying, hey, maybe we can make a little run here and be one of the better teams?
It was, again, we have a ton of respect for them, for being able to win an environment like that. It's great. But we all have confidence in each other. We've had confidence in each other. That's not something that's new. And again, in this league, you're not gonna, looking back is only gonna get you beat. We have to turn our focus to this week. Right now, we have the biggest game of the year because it's the one we have this week. Coach always says that. So there's never a lack of confidence. We all trust each other. We all believe in each other. And now it's just about this week.
Does it, getting a win like that kind of justify the work you guys are putting in? And
No, I don't think we don't look for we don't look for things to validate what we do. We don't look at for rewards. We don't look for stuff like that. Coach talks about it. He stresses it all the time. Just find joy in the work. Falling in love with that process. That's something we embody as a team. I'm grateful to be with players that just love the process of getting better. Love the day-to-day challenges that it brings, and that's what we're consumed with.
But to that point, when there is a plan that's put in place before a game like that, you execute the plan and it works, what does that do to sort of continue to build the strength of the bond between the coaching staff and players and things like that?
Yeah, getting to have experience, of course, you're able to, to feed off of that, to build off of that. And for us, it's just more and more reason to stick to the process, to make sure that, again, we can, you see that benefits that can have when you do things right throughout the week, when you're able to execute. And then, just making sure we never lose intensity with doing that. Throughout the week on Sundays, making sure that, being able to be on whatever side it is, you continue to grow an appreciation for that. So right now it's just making sure we're diligent in doing the work.
Does watching the film after a game like that, really, I mean, obviously you know this, but does it really drive home, the margin, like how slim the margins are between winning and losing. Like especially
Yeah. But as you said, that's every week. In this league, it's one play there, another play there, whatever it is. It's one little thing that can be the reason between a win and a loss. And throughout the week, it's the balancing act of you don't know what play it's going to be, you don't know what decision it's going to be, you don't know what it is. So you got to treat every play, treat every rep, treat every thing you go over in meetings with that care that it could be the game-winning decision, play. Read, whatever it may be, and week to week something's gonna pop. So we just have to be diligent on our work so that we're prepared.
Of all the plays you made in the clutch situations this year, any that you're most proud of?
Again, I'm not a big reflect guy. Again, there'll be a time for that at some point in life. It's not now. Right now, it's everything's about the Saints. We have to do everything that we can this week. Again, we have a ton of respect for them, division opponent, and watching them on film. It's a really good group of guys. They play really hard. They play well together. They're talented. They're a good group. So for us, we understand the challenge. They play with a lot of effort up front. Second level, a lot of savvy guys. They played a lot of ball. They know what's going on the back end. They're playing really well. Playing well in zone. They're really matchy in man. It's a good group of guys. So we want to embrace that challenge as an offense, as a team. Want to embrace the challenge of protecting home field against a division opponent. So that's where our focus is.
It looks like the offensive line is getting a little bit healthier, but I feel like we've lost count of the number of combinations you've had in front of you. Why has it worked? Why has the protection continued to hold up? Why has the run game continue to work despite who's in there?
Yeah, it's the culture in that room. They work super hard, communicate really well, and it's stuff that you can't really just see on Sundays. The way that they interact with each other, how much buy-in they have as a room, the mentality they have approaching meetings, walkthrough, practice. Whoever's up, it's a next man up mentality. Everyone has confidence in each other. They play really well. Can't speak enough on how well that room, the coaching staff does a great job of with all the unfortunate things with injuries and all the mix-ups, all the different lineups, them be able to play the level they've had. I mean, I can't say enough about that.
I know you aren't a look back, aren't a look forward guy, but stats matter, and you have been successful on game-winning drives this season. What about your personality do you think has allowed you to thrive in those situations?
Just consistency. Making sure that Coach talks about it all the time. It's about doing right longer. Making sure that we're those same people. You don't rise to the level of occasion. You fall back to the level you're training. In those times, we have reps. We have trust in each other. I have confidence and faith in everyone. We all have confidence in each other. So we know that we're comfortable in situations. So and it's not about going and doing something we never practiced. It's just who can execute for longer. Who can stick to the plan, who can do right. Like we practice. And again, it's not just me. It's all of us as a team. It's a coach and staff. And we have to earn the right to continue to do that.
A couple more, please.
Heading into those situations, though, what's going through your mind? Are you going through your plays? What are you thinking about before you head to the field for a potential game win?
Just the opportunity. I've said it, but it's like, you dream of stuff like that as a kid. You get to go out and game on the line. But you talk about in the backyard. And I'm blessed. I get to do that. I've been able to do that in real life. I get those opportunities in real life. So it's just. It's definitely not a fear thing. It's not a, super tense, what are we going to do? It's just, it's fun. That's what you play the game for. We all dream of stuff like that. So I'm grateful that, we all kind of share that, we're in a good group. And again, it's a week-to-week league. We have to earn the right to continue to be successful in those situations.
You were grinning when you answered that question. The broadcast caught you grinning when it was 2 minutes and 32 seconds, I believe, left on the clock. You guys were about to take the ball. Green Bay had just tied it up. And I know you said that you're just thinking of in the moment and how you dream of those things. How do you kind of temper that, and like you said, with execution? Like you're excited, but you have to still execute and command the huddle. Yeah,
it's balance. In those moments in the huddle, and try to add and supplement whatever it is that you need, just for us to be in the right mindset. To like you said, it's. You're happy, we're all excited for the moment, but also you can't be lost in that. You can't lose your way. It's balancing that middle ground of having fun, enjoying the moment, but also having elite level execution. So again, it's a week-to-week thing. It's something that we pride ourselves in, and we got to continue to earn the right to do it.
Bryce, is it important to have fun? on the field?
I think that depends on who you ask. You know, everyone's different in that process. Yeah, you know, for me, I'm always trying to balance from the mental side. I'm always trying to balance what's the you know, the right mindset I need to be in. And one of the things that I don't know if people would assume from the outside looking in, it's not always the same from a day-to-day basis. I try to check in warm-ups and then really try to check in right before a game starts of where am I at mentally? You know, where do I feel mentally, physically? Sometimes it's okay. I need to, you know, I feel a little tense. I need to put more emphasis on having fun, on being relaxed. Sometimes it's like, okay, I can tell that I'm relaxed. I can tell that, let me make sure I'm focused. So for me, it's not always every game I'm in the exact same, have the exact same approach to it. It's trying to find that kind of flow state, find the right mindset and supplement it from where I'm at, you know, on a play-to-play basis.
Can you tell sometimes when you've got a
on for a really long time of just being in tune with myself. So again, whether it's dial it back, bring it up more, I can kind of tell where I'm at, and that's kind of one of the game within the game things for me personally, is just individually from a mental standpoint, where am I at and how can I make sure I'm in the right place.
Bryce, have you always had that mindset when the game's on the line, you want the ball in your hands? You talked about being a kid, or is that something like you develop, or you're just kind of born with that?
Yeah, of course. I think it comes with, you know, throughout the course of sports, for whatever sport it may be. I mean, it's again, it's what you dream of. It's the fun part. I think that's a big part of our position too. You know, we get to touch the ball every play. You know, we all like control. We all like being able to control the outcome. You know, the thing about the sport is sometimes the defense is out there. Sometimes you learn a lot of, you know, you learn that humility, and you learn that sometimes, you know, you just got to trust other people. But of course, you know, deep down, it's always nice when you get to have that control. You get to have that say. Doesn't always work out that way, but it's always nice when it does.
Point where you realize that you had what people call the clutch gene?
Again, I
do you remember certain games that kind of
not really. Again, for me, I'm not a big like label myself. This is but for me, again, I know myself. I know myself in those times when it's you know, I know what you have experiences, you have stuff, and yeah, you know, I enjoy those moments.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.